Hi, class. I put this short video together to try to help you navigate through the myLabIT program. After you've gone through the registration process, based on the email that I had sent you related to signing up for myLabIT, once you log into the class, you'll get a screen that looks something like what I'm showing you here. At the top of the screen is going to be the class that you're currently enrolled in for CS 105. In this case, it's showing Section 3. But there's a few things that I needed to show you as we navigate through this process. So I put this video together to try to help you understand the process. Okay, so when you come into the course materials for myLabIT, initially, you're going to see two folders that are available. One is the e-text. The e-text is actually the book for the course for the applications for Excel and Access. So if you'll notice that when you click on the folder for the e-text, you have three links that are provided. The next few weeks that we have in myLabIT, we're going to be using Excel. So if you're a reader that you need to read the material before you do, the material is available here. Now, please keep in mind that the material for Microsoft Excel is available as a comprehensive e-text. So it can be overwhelming because there's an awful lot of material in that e-text, but we're not going to go over all the material in the e-text, just specific chapters. So I just wanted to make you aware of the fact that there is a textbook available. It's available online. And if you'll notice, you have the e-text for mobile devices. If you feel more comfortable reading the material on your iPhone or Android device, you can certainly do that. So I'm going to back up, go back to the course materials that are available for the course right now. Now, the browser that I'm looking at right now or using right now is Google Chrome, and I strongly suggest that you use Google Chrome as a matter for just reviewing material, but you'll need to use Google Chrome once you do the simulation exams. Now, one of the things that I mentioned in class is that while we're going through the myLabIT product and we're going through Excel and Access, we're going to be using a set schedule for the assessments, and that'll be on Sunday nights by 10 p.m., meaning you can take the assessment anytime up until Sunday night at 10 p.m. Eastern. I'll make sure I turn the exams on by Friday afternoon, and you'll have between Friday afternoon and Sunday night at 10 p.m. to complete them. So I wanted to go through this with you so you understand what it looks like, and also some of the potential problems that might exist, which there is one. I have a problem with the browser right now that I want to show you what I mean. This way you don't get stuck, and usually happens if you're taking the exam on a Sunday night and I don't happen to be available by email, and you go into a panic. So let me just kind of guide you through the process. This happens to be the introductory screen. You should see these two folders. I'm going to go ahead and click on the Exploring Excel 2016. So when you click on that folder and open it up, you'll notice four folders. And the material for Excel that we'll be covering in CS 105 is broken into four chapters. Okay, so this week, the first week into the Excel unit, we're going to be doing Chapter 1. Next week, we'll be moving into Chapter 2 and Chapter 3, and then we'll finish up with some some general information in Chapter 4. So my goal is to finish Microsoft Excel before our spring break, which starts on 4 March. So we have up until that end of the week, just before the spring break, and my goal is to try to get everything done by the end of the month of February so that we can get into spring break, and then when we come back, we'll get into Python. So to stay focused on Excel, what you'll do is when you want to get into a piece of material, you'll click on the actual chapter that you want to work in. This is something new for this semester. Historically, what I've done is I've only turned the chapters on that we're working in, I decided a different approach for this semester, and that is I'm going to keep all the chapters on that we're working with for the unit. And the reason I do that is because when I polled individuals in the class, there was quite a diversity in terms of capability and mastery for Microsoft Excel, ranging from I can only spell Excel all the way up to I've been doing spreadsheets and worksheets for years, and I really don't have to do the preliminary. So I chose to turn the chapters on, all of them. So if you want to read ahead, if you want to see all the material beforehand, they're all available. Okay. So before we get into the any more information, let's go into what you'll see as soon as you come into a specific chapter. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the chapter 1 from Microsoft Excel. And once you get into chapter 1, you have 2 folders of information that are available. One is the student resources and one is activities. Now, everybody has their own way of learning, the best way to learn. Some people are visual, some people are tactile. They have to hold it, they have to feel it. And some people are visual, some people are auditory. The student resources folder in each of the chapters contains a whole collection of information. We have videos. If you like PowerPoint presentations, there are PowerPoint presentations. Here's the e-text for chapter 1. Back a little while ago when I showed you the e-text folder and it said comprehensive Excel 2016, that included all the chapters. But in this area, only chapter 1 of the e-text is present. So it's a little bit easier. And notice it also has another copy of the comprehensive e-text. Now, if you choose to go through the e-text, the author will reference data files. Those data files are available right through the student resources folder in myLabIT. Okay, but knowing how most everyone is today, we want to get through the material as quick as possible. So I'm going to go back one level and get back to the activities area. And in the activities area is where we have all the information that you need to get through the chapter material. Now, once you click on activities, you're going to come to a folder called simulation activities. Now I'm going to park here for a moment and explain why it says simulation. myLabIT is set up as what they refer to as a simulation tool. The simulation tool means that the application will make the screen look exactly like you're actually in the application. You'll be able to click on the individual icons. It'll respond the way you would expect it to respond in Microsoft Excel. The good news is about the myLabIT solution is that by having a simulation-based assessment, you do not have to have Microsoft Excel on your laptop. That's big, because when I did a general poll of the class, most people have Mac products, Apple products, MacBook Pro, MacBook Air. Most of these products, most cases, do not have Microsoft Excel loaded on the device. Now, if you do happen to have Microsoft Excel loaded on the computer, it may be the Macintosh version of Microsoft Excel, and that's going to be different from the Excel 2016 version that we're using in class. So the good news is that whatever we do in class, you can reinforce directly with the simulation activities because it makes your screen through the browser look exactly like you're using Microsoft Excel in class. Okay, so that's the reason why we have simulation. Now, I'm going to say it a few more times. Everything that I'm talking about in this video is contingent upon using Google Chrome. If you do not have Google Chrome installed on your computer, whether it be Mac or PC, I encourage you, before you start the simulation exercises, make sure you get Chrome on the machine. If you don't know how to install Chrome, or if you don't feel comfortable installing Google Chrome on your machine, I suggest heading over to Tech Services in Knott Hall 107, and they'll be glad to help you. Okay, so with that in mind, I'm going to go ahead and click on the Simulation Activities folder, And this is how every single chapter is set up. Now, we're going to go over every piece of the chapter concepts within a classroom environment. But what you're looking at here is the same chapter, only what Pearson has done is they have taken all of the information from chapter 1 and broke it up into 5 separate exercises. Each exercise is a small chunk or subset of all the activities that you'll be doing in the individual chapter. Now, this is how every single chapter is set up. You have 5 exercises, 4 exercises, whatever the case may be, and these are simulation training modules. These training modules are what's going to be used to reinforce the concepts in class and to get some preparation, some training on actually going into Excel, doing what it says on the screen to do, so you can build up your skill level. On Friday afternoon, to be completed between Friday afternoon and Sunday evening at 10 p.m., there's going to be something that you need to take and complete called a simulation exam. In a simulation exam, there is no assistance that you get. In the simulation training modules, if you need help, you can ask for help within the application. The simulation exam is going to be timed, and there are no additional tools that you could use to say, I don't know how to do this. Can you show me? In the training module, there are opportunities for you to get assistance if you don't know how to do it. Okay? So in this particular chapter, in the simulation activities, I'm showing 5 exercises. And one of the things that I would strongly suggest that you do is you start scheduling these exercises throughout the week. So perhaps you can start exercise 1 on a Monday, do 1 additional exercise each subsequent day, and then on Saturday, perhaps you can go through the exercises again in preparation for your assessment before Sunday night at 10 p.m. Okay. Now, one of the things that I mentioned in class is that I've set the training modules to be taken unlimited number of times. But the real test in terms of how well you know the material is going to be found on your first attempt. If you take Chapter 1, Exercise 1, Simulation Training, and you receive a 26 out of 100 the first time you take it, you got some work to do. My concern, and I'm going to say this in class again, is that if you take Chapter 1, Exercise 1, Simulation Training 18 times, chances are pretty good you're going to get 100. But basically what you're doing by getting 100 at the 18th attempt is you're basically memorizing where to click. You're not really learning the material. So my suggestion is do this proactively. Use the score that you get on the first attempt to give a pretty good indication as to where you are. This way, there's no surprises. I have a number of students who come to me and say, how is it possible that I got a 42 on the exam when I was getting hundreds in all the exercises? And then when I take a look and see how many times they were doing the exercises in the training modules, I'm seeing numbers like 17, 21, 26. Well, if you take anything 26 times, of course you're going to get through it. But the real test is going to be at the first time. So let me go ahead and attempt to click on Chapter 1, Exercise 1, Simulation Train. And I say attempt because when you watch the screen, you're going to see something funny happening. I did it deliberately this way so I can show you what you need to do to get out of the problem. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the simulation training, and you're going to see the screen appear to or attempt to open the training module and then automatically close. And I'll explain why that is in a moment. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the exercise 1 simulation training. It's attempting and it's shut down. And the first thing you most likely will do is assume that the machine didn't understand and click on it again. And there it is again. It's trying and it doesn't open. And this is about the time when you start to panic. Okay, so there's not a problem per se, but what just happened was when you told Pearson myLabIT, by clicking, you're telling them to launch that particular assessment. What's happening is that Pearson myLabIT is sending the exam to you, but it's sending it as a pop-up. The default setting for pop-ups in Google Chrome is to disable all pop-ups. It's through pop-ups that sometimes illicit information or data comes through the machine. So by default, the Google Chrome browser says no pop-ups. But what I need you to take a look at is right up over here above your name. You're going to see at the right-hand side of the address bar, there's a little icon that looks like a window with a red dot or a red box in the lower right-hand corner. If you hover your mouse over it, I'm doing it right now, it said pop-ups were blocked on this page, and that's the problem. So what you need to do is, again, in Google Chrome, you want to hover over the icon, click it once, and you'll get a screen that looks something similar to what you have on the screen. It says pop-ups blocked. Now I clicked that a number of times, so you're noticing the same web address appearing multiple times. But if you'll notice the radio button that says continue blocking, that's part of the issue. Every time you click, it's going to say, as long as you click, I'm going to keep on blocking. So what you want to tell Google Chrome is the pop-ups for this particular website are okay. So we're going to choose the radio button that says always allow pop-ups and redirects from, and this is the website that we're dealing with. So as you move forward through the myLabIT application and the material for the course, if you notice that happening where the window just suddenly appears and then goes away, first culprit, check to make sure the pop-up is not blocked. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do it again. I'm going to hover over the pop-up block icon. I'm going to click on it, make sure it says always allow pop-ups and redirects, and then click on done. Now, while it may appear to have done nothing, you still have that icon there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try to activate the simulation training module for exercise 1 again, and let's see if it's fixed the problem. I'm going to go ahead and click on it, and you'll notice the screen looks completely different. Now that the pop-up web address has been cleared and put on the whitelist for Google Chrome, you now have access to the material. So right now it's coming in and saying, here's my first task. So in this particular case, what it's saying is enter computer system in cell A5. All right, now there's 2 tasks for this particular activity. Notice that it has 4 questions that have to be answered for exercise 1. This is one of 5 exercises that make up chapter 1 material. So this is actually a simulation. This is not really Microsoft Excel running. This is a simulation screen, but it's going to respond just like Excel. So I'm going to go into cell A5, and you know that because it says A5, and I'm going to type in what it asks, computer system, and nothing's happening because I really haven't put that information in until I press the enter key. And when I do, it goes to the next part of the question. Notice that it actually diminishes the font size of the previous step, and it brings to the surface, right to the forefront with a larger font, exactly what it needs. It's colored differently to tell you what to put in. So it says color laser printer in cell A6, and then press enter. The remaining data will autocomplete. So I'm in cell A6. I'm going to go ahead and do something other than what it said. So I'm just going to put a bunch of letters. I'm going to press the enter key, and it comes back and says incomplete action. Now it gives you a number of attempts. In the training module, you have 5 attempts per task. That's not going to be the same when you do the exam. So you don't want to be using them just frivolously. If something's happening, maybe you made a mistake, I would do it, what you were supposed to do. If you press it again and it says incomplete action, potentially what you're doing is not right. So I realized that I wasn't supposed to do it that way. So I'm going ahead and do it the right way, color laser printer. And when I press the enter key, if it's correct, it moves on to the next task immediately. Now, if you notice, it's currently showing that I'm on task 2 of 4. Once you have the tasks done, you can submit, and then it'll grade it for you, and then move on, allow you to move on to the next task. So a couple things that I wanted to share with you is, again, these exercises are set up to reinforce the information we're going over in class. It wouldn't hurt to go through the exercises before class, but I understand that you have classes, other tasks that you need to do. But the reality is that these tasks, these particular training modules are set up to help you. The simulation exam, which is different from the simulation training, is going to be turned on Friday afternoon and available for you to take before Sunday night at 10 p.m. One of the other pieces that you need to be mindful of is to use Google Chrome as the browser, so that if in fact there was a pop-up blocked, you know exactly how to take care of that. I'm going to go ahead and save this, and I'm back at my original screen showing all of my exercises, and you'll notice that it's reporting whether I started the individual exercises or the particular exercise is in progress. If you find that when you click on these individual links that the window starts to appear and then disappears, it usually means you have a pop-up that is being blocked by the browser. And again, Google Chrome by default keeps all of the pop-ups disabled. So you have to specifically tell Google Chrome that you want to allow. Once you choose allow and you click done, the individual links should work from that point forward. Make sure you check this before you send an email or go to tech services, because that's typically what the problem is. Other ways you can check to make sure everything is okay is that if you want to log out of myLabIT and then come back in again and try it again, try that before you exercise any type of tech support help or send an email. That's about it. I hope you found this video helpful, and I'll see you in class to continue our discussion with Microsoft Excel.